From Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Saamiyah Syed. Our top story tonight, ultra-right conservative Laura Loomer is suing her attorney for leading her to file a lawsuit against the Council on American Islamic Relations and Twitter. Loomer, a Florida Republican who lost a congressional seat primary last year, is known for her anti-Muslim stances. She was banned from the social media platform after complaints. Loomer said a New York attorney, Ronald Coleman, convinced her to file a lawsuit against CAIR and Twitter. She lost the case and had to pay more than $160,000 in costs and attorney fees to the defendants. Loomer said her attorney did not inform her of the risks of litigation, nor give her an honest or accurate assessment of the merits of the case. Her lawsuit sought damages over the statutory minimum of $30,000. CAIR Michigan has filed a lawsuit against the state's Kent County Sheriff for forcing a woman to remove her hijab for a photograph. It alleges the sheriff's office violated the religious rights of 21-year-old Jannah Haig of Grand Rapids. Staff attorney Amy Ducour said the sheriff's office insisted on taking one of her photos without her hijab and posting it on a public website. The sheriff's office said Haig was arrested on April 8th after a fight at her home. Ducour said it is important for Muslims to know what their rights are when dealing with American law enforcement officials. The attorney said an arrest does not mean someone is a criminal, nor does it deprive the person of their religious and constitutional rights. Two public health groups have filed a lawsuit over the use of insecticide-coated seeds. In a lawsuit Thursday, the groups demanded the Environmental Protection Agency close loopholes in regulations. The loopholes allow companies to coat seeds with chemicals called neonics, which are harmful to bees and songbirds. These seeds have spread to 150 million acres of farmland in the U.S. The Center for Food Safety and the Pesticide Action Network North America, in their lawsuit, say the EPA only regulates pesticides sprayed directly on crops. Companies are using this loophole to coat seeds with insecticides. Senior attorney Amy Van Shawn explained toxic neonics can cause paralysis and death in important pollinators such as bees and butterflies. More than 80% of a seed's coating can spread into the environment, contaminating air, soil, and waterways. In 2021, neon-coated corn seed used as feedstock at an ethanol plant in Mead, Nebraska was linked to serious health problems for residents. Chemical in sweeteners used as an alternative to sugar are harmful to health. According to the study by North Carolina University, chemicals produced after sweeteners digested damages DNA. Researchers say commonly used sweetener Sucralose releases harmful chemicals in the digestive system named genotoxic. The university said the same research team previously found several fat-soluble compounds in the gut after ingesting sucralose. One of those compounds is sucralose 6-acetate. Susan Schiffman, leader of the research team, said the study found sucralose 6-acetate becomes a harmful genotoxic compound. She said the European Food Safety Authority has set a threshold of 0.15 micrograms per person per day for all genotoxic substances. Her team found sucralose 6-acetate releases more genotoxic substances than the threshold. These findings have raised concerns about the potential health effects of sucralose and its metabolites. Researchers say it's time to review the safety and regulatory status of sucralose. Coming up is a story on how Muzz is changing the way Muslims meet and marry, so stay tuned and we will be right back. Welcome back. British entrepreneur Shehzad Yunus has developed Muzz, a Muslim dating app to help community singles find life partners. According to the company, the app already has 8 million users worldwide and has already been responsible for 400,000 weddings. Yunus is currently traveling in North America to promote the app. So far, the company has organized events in Toronto, New York, and Baltimore. At an event in Ray Ridge, Brooklyn, Yunus said Muzz helps Muslims find partners in a way that respects their faith, culture, traditions, and family. A bill introduced in the U.S. Senate would impose penalties on companies profiting from the slave labor of ethnic Uighur Muslims in China's Xinjiang Autonomous Region. The measure closes loopholes in the Uighur Forced Labor Prevention Act of 2021. Senators Marco Rubio and Jeff Merkley, who introduced the bill, said the legislation aims to expand existing sanctions and visa bans on Chinese officials. They said it would hold these officials accountable for their crimes such as forced abortions or sterilizations. The bill also would authorize the U.S. State Department and the U.S. Agency for International Development to help victims of genocide. It requires companies to disclose their links to Uighur forced labor to the Securities and Exchange Commission. It also calls for providing funds for those who have fled to the Xinjiang region and countering Chinese propaganda. The bill now will be considered in a Senate committee before being put to a floor vote. It then will move to the House for consideration. In related news, French senators unanimously passed a resolution Thursday calling for a ban on imports linked to Uighur slave labor. A mosque in a central German city received a racist and threatening letter. A representative of the Duisburg Mosque said the letter included a swastika with Nazi symbols and the word NSU 2.0, referring to a neo-Nazi group. The group is responsible for several racially motivated murders. The Duisburg Central Mosque is affiliated with the Turkish Muslim umbrella organization DİTİB. Yusuf Aydin, chairman of the DİTİB Central Mosque Association, said on Saturday that leaders handed over the letter to police and filed a criminal complaint. The mosque has received more than a dozen such threatening and insulting letters. Police have opened an investigation. Footage of the attack was shared by the suspect on social media. Violent riots in Senegal have left 15 people dead in the past week. Violence erupted in the West African country after a court-convicted opposition leader Ousmane Sonko. The 48-year-old former tax inspector was initially charged with rape. On Thursday, he was sentenced to 2 years in prison on a lesser charge. Sonko claims the charges against him are an attempt by the government to torpedo his political career. His conviction could take him out of the race for the 2024 presidential election. Clashes erupted between Sonko's supporters and police after the verdict was announced Thursday. It resulted in burned-out cars, tires, and roads strewn with debris. Government spokesman Abdulkarim Fofana said Friday the violence was not sparked by political demands but by vandalism and banditry. A fiery speaker and charismatic figure, Sonko has a large following among Senegal's youth. He has spoken out against debt, poverty, food insecurity, underfunded health and education systems, and corruption. Sonko portrays himself as a devout Muslim and a champion of traditional values. Supporters of President Macky Sall see him as an agitator who has poisoned political discourse and sowed instability. The Philippines has been named the best Muslim-friendly travel destination of the year. The East Asian nation won the award at the recently held Halal and Travel Global Summit 2023 in Singapore. This award for non-Islamic countries recognizes destinations that cater to the special needs and preferences of Muslim travelers. Philippine Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco said the award is in recognition of her country's rich and diverse culture and heritage. Tourism Undersecretary Myra Paz Valderosa Abubakar accepted the award on behalf of the Department of Tourism. Abubakar said the award recognizes the joint efforts of the Philippine government and tourism stakeholders. The Halal and Travel Global Summit 2023 evaluated many countries' facilities available at destinations for Muslim travelers. The Muslim travel market is expected to play a critical role in the growth of the tourism industry globally. The Philippines expects 140 million Muslim travelers to visit there in 2023. The leader of India's largest opposition party expressed confidence in defeating the ruling Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party. Speaking at a Saturday event in New York, Indian National Congress leader Rahul Gandhi said his party would decimate the BJP in upcoming state elections ahead of the 2024 general election. Gandhi said voters would defeat the BJP's hateful ideology. He added that Congress overwhelmingly defeated the BJP in a recent election in the southern Indian state of Karnataka. Gandhi said this was despite the fact that the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi tried to polarize Karnataka's elections by fomenting anger and hatred among communities. Gandhi said the BJP had all the media and 10 times the money, but that the BJP could not continue with the kind of hatred it was spreading. New York City Mayor Eric Adams also attended the event. At another event, he told the Indian diaspora respect for all religions was the best way to fight the BJP. Gandhi was recently expelled from the Indian Parliament. He was sentenced by a court to 2 years in prison for questioning Modi's last name in a defamation case. 3 Chinese astronauts returned safely to Earth Sunday after a 6-month stay in a space station. China's Human Spaceflight Agency said the Shenzhou 15 return capsule landed at the Dongfang landing site in North China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. Mission Commander Fei Junlong and crew members Dong Qingming and Zhang Lu set a new record with 4 spacewalks. Shortly after the return capsule landed, the ground team arrived at the landing site. Medical personnel confirmed the astronauts were in good health. China launched the Shenzhou 15 manned spacecraft on November 29, 2022. The Shenzhou 15 crew, China's oldest mission crew in terms of average age, has completed 4 outboard missions. The crew spent 186 days on the space station complex, conducting a series of experiments. Chinese space authorities said the crew succeeded in creating 3D structural images of their skin cells using the 2-photon microscope developed by China. The first of its kind achievement marks the success of experiments to verify the 2-photon microscope in orbit. Before we end today's news segment, I would like to make a very special request. It takes more than 55 hours of work per day to produce this news segment for you. It brings news with a unique perspective, and you can find it only on here, on Muslim Network TV. Sound Vision is a not-for-profit organization which produces it, and just like PBS and NPR, we depend on your donations. Please visit MuslimNetwork.tv to donate now, or click the link below to donate. And that's all from our Toronto studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit MuslimNetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.